Hello, welcome to another episode of the Diary of Dating Over 50 with Tanya R. Lewis, your host. We are in this beautiful theater because we are sitting here with an actor, Harold Otley. Y'all know how I do it. Harold, introduce yourself to my guest.
What up, Joe? My name is Harold Outley. I am from the west side of Detroit, Dexter Davidson to be exact. I am an actor, I'm a spoken word artist, I'm a writer, I'm a host, low key chef, and
Oh, low key chef.
I'm just glad to be here. I appreciate the invitation to be on your show.
Well, I am glad you decided to take the invitation. So, first of all, we're gonna dig right into it, y'all, because y'all know I love to have fine men on my show, and
Okay,
yes,
okay. Thank you,
and we're
thank you.
gonna find out about this fine man. You know, it's three fines.
She
Okay,
said, fine, fine,
fine man.
fine. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So, how has dating changed you since your divorce about a year ago?
Oh, so we just gonna get
We're
right
going
to it.
right there, y'all.
Okay.
We're going right there.
I think I know the very first thing that I would say is I had to establish boundaries.
Wow. Okay.
I had to make sure I was whole. I had to make sure I was healed, even before call myself quote unquote dating. But with that, it was boundaries and making sure I'm being very forthcoming and clear with where I am in my life.
Wow. So the boundaries were set for you and the other person, or mainly for you?
The boundaries are they're set by me, but any woman that calls herself wanting to be involved with me in any shape, way, capacity, or form, there's going to be boundaries.
Okay.
And if she feels like she can or cannot, if that doesn't work with her, then you don't need to be around me.
Wow. Well, women want to know. I know y'all gonna be in my inbox, y'all, and say, "Are you single?"
So you go right to it.
Yeah. No, no beating around the bush. We just gonna be right. We're gonna go right
You
into
know
it.
what? Let me take my shades off and
Yeah,
go and
take
get
them
into
off
this.
because we need to. You need to hear all of me,
Okay.
and my guests need to
I asked your
hear.
question again.
Okay. Are you single?
Actually, yes, I am single. However,
Mm-hmm.
I am dating
Okay.
exclusively.
Oh, you dated one person.
I am
So how's that single, y'all?
because I'm not in a relationship.
Okay, but you're dating. You're getting to know somebody.
Yes,
Okay.
as I was told, we are enjoying one another.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes, I am dating exclusively.
Okay. So
But
you're not open to date anyone else.
no,
Okay. Wow.
no.
Y'all hear that? So he dating with a purpose, y'all. Okay.
With a purpose, but more so again, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm becoming 50 now. Despite my youngish good looks, thank you for the fine. I am not 30 years old,
Okay.
or 35 or 40, but in
So
all
you'll be 50 next week,
this month.
this month.
So in all
Okay.
seriousness, yes, being single is fun, it's cool, and trust me, there are many. Shout out to Mr. Crown. There are so many advantages to being single. It has its perks. However, when you go through things and you grow as a man, I got to get this example. I was having a conversation with my boy the other day, and he said, you can be having your way right
Oh, what did
now.
he mean
And
by that?
so I said, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, yo, you single, you live by yourself, you got your career going on,
Mm-hmm.
this woman, that woman. I said, well, I am having my way, but in a different way. See, me having my way is my peace
Mm-hmm.
and my health and
Mm-hmm.
healthy boundaries and knowing, like, I know how to say no and not, there's a level of not giving a, this is a grown people show?
Grown people show.
There's a level of not giving a fuck that I have achieved in this big age. So I am having my way in a different way. And part of that is if I'm going to date and if there's a woman
Mhm.
that I'm interested in, I never said I dated exclusively in my life. Not never.
Uh-oh.
I am dating exclusively. So what that means is I have no desire to want to get to know any other woman right now. She has my full and complete attention. Don't
Wow.
even waste your time with me.
Wow.
I'm flattered. Trust me,
Y'all
I'm
hear
flattered.
that? It is not easy to find a man that will say that, because a lot of time I've had men say they wanted to be exclusive, but their behavior wasn't exclusive, and then they didn't shout it at the top of their lungs like you just did.
Mm.
You made it clear. I
Well,
like that. That.
I think there's a lot of things that go into that.
Mm-hmm.
Growth is one.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing who the fuck you are as a grown man
Mm-hmm.
is another. And then, you know, if you're fortunate enough, you know, if there's a woman that you're dating
Mm-hmm.
and she has shown you and you have shown her that y'all are worthy enough of dating each other exclusively, it's okay.
Okay. And
Now,
not.
to my homie's point, he's like, "Yo, listen, I see they at you. Like, you've been working out. You look good. You got this and that." And I'm not gonna say exactly the verbiage that we used, but here's what I'll say.
Mhm.
If I wanted to have my way the way he said it, I could. And when I was
Yeah.
younger, perhaps, yes. Could I? Yes. Is that what I really want? No, because when my life is, again, shout out the crown, there's a level of focus that I have to have. And to be honest with you, having or being involved with a bunch of women is nothing but a distraction.
Yeah.
And
It's
where my
it
life is
is.
going, distractions will not be tolerated.
Yeah. And that's where I am at right now. I have no distraction. I'm not dating at all right now. So I'm fully
Mm.
focused. Yeah, I'm fully focused on.
I can hook you up. I may know
Yeah.
somebody.
You know somebody?
I may know a couple somebody.
Wow.
I don't know. Depending on, you know, I don't know
Let
that
me
you like.
interview them, or
Oh
I'll give
my
you some
lord.
questions to ask them, and
I
you'll
like
see.
that. I like
Okay, and then you can see if they, if I'll put down the answers.
that. Okay.
Well, they got to be ready. This, I'm like you. I have my boundaries. I'm focused on my career. The
Mhm.
diary is doing amazing. And then I'm a model, and I'm a bikini, a 61-year-old bikini model at that. So they would have to
Come on now.
understand the
Come
industry.
on now. Y'all better be clever for that in the background. When y'all edit this, make sure y'all put some hand
Cause the
claps.
hand claps on that. Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you this:
Okay.
do you date younger women, or the lady that you're dating, is she younger or is she your age?
Uh, First off, what do you mean by younger?
Um, Probably 30.
Absolutely not. I
Okay.
like my food seasoned.
Okay. Okay. Like a little and a
I li-
little.
I prefer. You know. Let me be a little more specific. She's a grown woman. She is whole. She is healthy. She is seasoned, and that's what I like. I'm
Wow.
not, and I understand why men that get to a certain age and they want the younger women. But when I was young, I was dating older.
Okay. Okay. Got your
So,
little experience, huh?
oh,
Got
over
your
sure.
little.
So she has to be over 40.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I like guys in the 50s and 60s, but young guys stay in
Mm.
my DM.
Okay,
Woo.
50s and they said so.
Mm.
How old are the men that are in your DM?
30, 35,
Now, whose
39.
fault is that?
How's my fault? Y'all, is he interviewing me? You trying to check on me?
See,
No, I don't. I don't date young men.
I see what you did there.
What did
Now,
I do?
do you understand why these young guys are coming at you? Don't
No,
act like you don't know.
no, no. Tell me
No,
why.
no, no.
I understand.
You posting you. I ain't gonna say you little. You posting your bikini pictures. They don't know how old you are. They don't know how old you
Is
are.
that the reason?
It ain't just
Did you
that.
look at my bikini picture?
No, I went through your page because I'm like, I want to find out who this woman is. You know, I'm coming on her
Mm-hmm.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do some recon on her, the same
Uh-huh.
way you doing recon on
Yes.
me.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I see she moving and grooving. Okay, I see she's jazzy was the word. I said she jazzy, so I can
Oh,
see how
well, thank you.
I can see how and why these 35-year-olds, you know what I'm saying, they may
Yeah.
wanna
I got
you might
one
have to
got
sprinkle
mad
them.
at me. But one, this really made me feel like the diary was on point. Cause I had my uniform on, flying, get ready to work a flight, and this young guy was like, "Hey Tanya," ran up on me, "Hey Tanya," and I'm like looking, and I didn't recognize him, and then he was like, "I'm a fan of the Diary of Dating Over 50." I was like, millions of people go through that airport, And he
Hmm.
said that, and he was the one. He stay in my
Hmm.
DM. And I told him I can't date you. So
How old is he?
he 32.
Oh yeah.
My
Oh
son
yeah. Yeah.
36.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He ain't ready for that
yeah,
smoke.
yeah. So tell me this:
Okay.
as a spoken word artist, um, and actor, how do you think your creative background influence your approach to dating? Because being a spoken word, you can come with some stuff and be like, okay, here, what you want, man? Here my panties. What you want?
First off, that is an excellent question
Okay,
because I want you to ask it again.
okay, I
I
will.
need y'all to hear this question.
Okay, as a spoken word artist and an actor,
Hmm.
how do you think your creative background influence your approach to dating?
So, from a spoken word artist perspective, I understand. First of all, I've been doing this for well over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I understand even when I walk to the stage and I get behind a microphone, women see me before they hear me. They have no idea what I'm going to say, but they just see me.
They see.
So, aesthetically, I may be what they like. Now, they
Mm-hmm.
have no idea what I'm about to say. Now, me in artist mode, I'm looking at the audience. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. So I
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm performing. So I do a poem and it could be provocatively geared towards women. So I understand there may be a woman or two in the audience that may find an interest in me.
Okay.
So from a dating perspective, say after I perform, set a show, and a woman comes up to me, she's seeing, she's looking at me as the person who she just saw perform.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know Harold.
Right.
She's not even thinking about Harold. She's thinking about
But the
Mr.
person who
Alvey.
right.
So I've made a point to not date a woman if I'm performing at a show and an audience member sees me and feels some type of way or say anything to me, I won't do that because she's not seeing Harold.
She's seeing
She's
your
seeing Mr.
art, your
Outlet. She
your creative side.
That's all she sees.
Because our creative side can sometimes not be who we are.
It is not because I will get behind a microphone and it's almost like it's like a transformation to another person and I can say all of these things. But what people don't realize is when I am done, I immediately want to go home.
Do you?
Yes. And I can almost speak for a lot of spoken word artists, some men who have the same type of thought processes I do.
Mm-hmm.
Spoken word in this regard is something that we do, is not who we are per se. So when I get up there, no matter how provocative or how sensual it may be, that's it's a part of Harold, but it's not
Right. It's
Harold.
right.
So I would do my thing and I'd be ready to go.
Okay. So when you were young in high school or coming up, did you always have a way with words? Because you don't have no problem spitting them out.
So I remember my youngest memory of writing is at age 10.
Okay.
It wasn't until 17, my senior year of high school, when a English teacher kind of lit that spark. It was a creative writing class that I had to take, and it lit that spark. And I started writing poetry really 18, 19. Okay, well, it was kind of raps because I thought I was a rapper, but I definitely wasn't a rapper.
You thought you was a rapper?
I clearly was not a rapper. But poetry, that's where it kind of evolved into.
Okay, okay. So, and then the acting came along.
Oh, wow. Acting came along way later. Um,
Was it when you moved here to Georgia?
I moved to Georgia June 3rd, 2008. I got back on stage doing poetry 2014. And in 2017, a young lady by the name of Mika Nicole, rest in peace,
Mm-hmm.
she saw me performing a poem and she asked me, did I want to be in a stage play? And it was her rendition of For Color Girls.
Okay.
And I told her, I'm sorry, but I'm not an actor. She said, hey, well, do you want to be in a play though? I said, I'm not an actor. She said, you about to be in this play. I said, well, I guess I'm about to be in this play. And coincidentally, the role that I played was the role of a poet.
Oh wow, that
I
was
was one of
comfortable then,
I was
wasn't it?
one of the love interests of Lady in Purple, and part of my script was to do a poem on stage. So I guess you can say, I know it's cliche, catching a bug, but for me, I fell in love with the process because I was going to these rehearsals, even though my part wasn't very long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching these rehearsals,
Mm-hmm.
so I fell in love with the
Yeah, they
process.
say take that small line and make it big. That's what they say.
And she gave me space to. She didn't say what poem to do. She said, "Do you have one?" And I did it in rehearsal. And she's like, "I want you to do that." It was a couple
Okay.
of little lines, but then it was the poem.
Wow.
And this was 17.
Okay. Okay. Because I didn't get into acting until I came down to Georgia. Is there something about this place that bring out all your creativity?
I tell people acting was not a dream of mine. Acting chose me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've been a performer from performing poetry because that's how I look at it. It's not like, you standing out there behind a microphone and you like the sun and the stars and the moon come out. No,
No.
I am literally performing poetry and I utilize the stage as my canvas. So, although acting and performing poetry is not the same, to me,
Yeah.
there's a parallel.
Yeah. Absolutely. So y'all, I was watching Harold's social media, and
Oh,
and I was
God,
watching
what you
him get
watch?
all ready, y'all. He even got a manicure, man. His hands look amazing, and I keep looking at him. He got the. I was watching him. He's getting at the barber, getting his hair done. I love that. I love a man that takes care of himself.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
I
got to put
mean,
that out there, y'all.
I appreciate the comment. I am from the west side of Detroit, and from
Uh-huh.
where I'm from, in the era that I grew up in,
That's
it's
that
it's
Cleveland,
it's what
Detroit,
we do.
Chicago is what we do.
And it was a woman. I'm 21 years old, and a woman said, "You got some nice hands and feet. You start get manicures, pedicures." So I've been doing manicures and pedicures. I've been getting manicures and pedicures since 1996.
That's good. It's a nice feeling, especially when they get and it's a good person that like to really dig in your feet. I love
And
that.
and I don't have ugly feet at all.
Oh, they
Don't
probably cuter than mine. Some
I'm
stilettos toe my feet
I'm gonna
up.
look in the camera and say my feet look better than a lot of women.
I,
Trust me.
I know they look better than mine, so you ain't gotta say that.
And you know what's
But
so crazy? Even now, when I go into, I've been going to these people for like 12 years,
mhm,
and every time I go and there's women in there,
they be looking at your feet,
they'll look at me, then they'll look at my feet, and then look back up at
huh?
me again. And I find out why they would give me the once over look, because they were trying to see something. They were trying to see what team I play for. I
Okay.
found this out later. And then I get this. I'm like, I get
Okay.
it. So yeah, I like to keep it clean.
That's cool. All right. So let me ask you this.
Ask me.
What lessons have you learned about relationships from your past marriage that you apply to your dating today? Like say, like with
Mm.
me, when if I ever get into another relationship or when, because God know God gonna bless me with that person, I always say that I am not gonna allow that insecurity of when someone doesn't call me back. Um, because I've had someone that
Oh Lord.
probably didn't call me back and ghosted me, and then two couple months later they begging, getting that line over there where I let her get away.
It's a line, gentlemen. So when y'all try to come in here and inbox you, and I
Yeah,
already
no,
told y'all
it's a
it's a
line.
line.
It's a line, though. I got about four people over in that line that want to get back with me right now, and they broke that trust. That trust is gone. So, what lessons did you learn from your past marriage? That
I would say the most immediate thing is asking the right questions.
what you mean by that?
Asking the questions that you want to know but hesitant to ask.
Yeah.
Or, and this could be a bit of an oxymoron
Mm-hmm.
because you don't find this out till after the fact, questions that you should have asked. So going forward, it's like, okay, I didn't ask this question before.
Mm-hmm.
I will ask this question now. I will communicate better in terms of what I require
Okay. Yeah.
and what I desire.
Yeah. That was one of my
And
next questions. What
yes,
did you look for?
and so that was probably two of the biggest things. And knowing that it's okay to say no.
Hmm.
Like, I don't have a problem in saying no because there's a level of not giving a fuckness that I have at this
Yeah.
big age.
Was it in your past relationship that you people pleased? You said yes to things that you really trying to make the marriage work. Oh, did I touch something?
I was gonna say, who you been talking?
I haven't
So,
talked to none of your friends
so,
and
so
family.
even my brother asked me, and the question been asked, do you have any regrets? And I said
Mm,
no. I said the only thing that I would say is I said yes to things that I knew I did not agree with, and then with certain things may not have went correctly,
mm-hmm.
it may have fell back on me. So I would say that was probably the. I don't have any regrets about the marriage or nothing that happened. I will put it on me and say I said yes to things that I knew I did not agree with in the sense of keeping the peace.
Okay.
And that's not
Right.
always the case because what
Yeah.
that does is causes resentment.
Yes,
Now, I
it
can't
does.
say I had resentment because at the time I felt like I was doing what was best at that moment.
Hmm.
But coming out of it and then you reflect and then going through therapy, you like, I'm not doing that again.
You went through therapy.
Yes,
That's great.
I did.
Because a lot of men, like I interviewed Dr. Arthur Vaughn. He had a heart transplant,
Hmm.
and he was saying how men need to man up.
Mm.
And manning up, one of the things is your health,
Mm.
but going to therapy. What did you learn in therapy about you that what did you learn in therapy about you that you are presently working on trying to change?
You said it. Said one of the things is people pleasing,
Hmm.
and I would sacrifice my own happiness or what would make me feel good for the sake of the group,
Hmm.
for the bigger picture.
Hmm.
And while there is nothing wrong with that, what I came out of therapy saying to myself, I will not go forward putting a woman as my number one priority ever.
Your number one, if it's your wife, because
No, I'm
mm-hmm.
not. And let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I will be my number one priority always. The reason is if I'm not, I have to make sure that I'm whole mentally,
Absolutely.
spiritually, health, internally. In order for me to be the best man I could be for her, I have to put me first
Yes,
to make sure
I
I can be the
understand.
best me for her. So no, a woman will not ever be the number one priority in my life. It's him, then it's me.
Yeah,
So if I am the best me, a whole me, a healthy me.
that woman gonna have a great man, huh? And good sex, huh? Because we get off on stuff like that. When you healthy,
So but but okay, it starts with that. I have to be a whole me mentally
mm-hmm.
first,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually, physically. So if I'm doing all of those things, then number one, she's gonna know
Mm-hmm.
you will not be the number one priority in my life, and I will explain to her why. And she's the woman who I know that she's to be. She's gonna understand that, and she will see and experience the ramifications of me being whole and healed. You
Yes.
think I'm going to the gym 5 days a week to look a certain way? This for me. It ain't for
So,
nobody else. It's for me.
absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's coming out of therapy is establishing boundaries and understanding it's okay to not be okay.
Okay.
No is a complete
That's
answer, and you owe nobody any explanations but yourself because I have to look in the mirror and I have to be happy with who I see.
yeah.
And if I'm
That's
putting all this energy into trying to make somebody else whole or make somebody happy, you know how much energy that pulls from you? No. So I'm starting with me.
okay. And so, you are a mama's boy, aren't
Very much
you?
so.
I watched your videos and
Yes.
okay. What's that relationship like, and how do a woman navigate through that?
So there is a connotation to a mama's boy.
Cause my son is a mama's boy too.
There's a
Yeah, our cameraman is a mama's boy.
I, I think it's variations to it.
Hmm.
I use the example from the movie Think Like a Man, how Terrence J's character was a heavy mama's boy.
Oh yeah,
I'm not that type.
yeah. That was crazy.
I'm more of the type where I have never cussed my mama. I've never beefed out with my mama. I've I've listened to her, and it's real simple. Would you want a man to talk to your mama like that? Would you want a man to call your mama a bitch or hoe or put hands on her?
Mhm.
And my mother raised myself and my brother the same way. So I'm a mama's boy to the point where I would treat a woman the way I want my mother to be treated. And even if she wrong or out of pocket, sometimes they need to be checked, and there is a way to check them. But if
Yeah, you better check
but
us right.
but but if you could tell her what to do, you can tell her what to do. But if you can't tell her what to do, you can't tell her what to do.
Yeah.
But that's according to how we conduct ourselves as men. So yes, I am a mama's boy, but I was raised a different way.
Mhm.
So I'm not that type.
Yeah. My son and I, we have candid conversations. Just we can talk about anything. You know what I'm saying? Um, my son ended up going to prison for 11 years,
Mm.
and he told me, he said, "Mom," he said, "you didn't raise me wrong. I listened wrong." Yeah, and I know that you spent a little time in jail yourself, didn't
Brief.
you? Free.
There's a poem that I wrote, and I said in that poem, I am grateful for the wisdom that I've obtained from listening, even though mama thought I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
So even though I made some bad choices, as my mama would say, you don't forget your raising. So it wasn't like I wasn't listening. I just made some bad choices, but then you get on the other side of that and you like, I get it now. It didn't take me long to figure it out. I learned that real young. I wasn't going back in there.
Yeah. Now, I had two young ladies wanted to hear one of your spoken words.
Okay.
Uh, can you give us a little bit of taste of it?
Well, first off, I can't give you a taste. I'm
Okay.
give it to you. I got to give
Give it to me. I'm greedy too, so.
Wait, so women inbox
Oh
you?
yeah, they inbox me when I be posting my flyers.
Okay, who inbox? I'm gonna give them a shout out.
I can't tell you. They
Well,
don't want. They
okay,
don't
but
want
let me
nobody
read
to
the
know.
names.
Oh, ain't no names on here.
You,
They don't
you,
want
you,
nobody to know.
you're not gonna tell
One
me?
of them was married.
Oh yeah, you can't get no
Yeah.
name.
But I have people randomly, like when I'm getting ready to do a show, they'll throw a question in my inbox. Girl, ask him this. So I can't reveal my sources.
You know what? A true journalist does not.
Okay.
Okay, so you want me to give you a poem. So
Yeah.
we go. I'm trying to figure it. Why my voice changed? No,
You went
I'm,
straight into a
no.
spoken word.
Listen, go blue. I'm trying to figure
Oh
out.
no, he didn't. Not Ohio State. No, he didn't. I thought that's what you said. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to figure out. Did I want to be? You know how I want to be.
Something sexy.
Some. You know what? I'll be romantic and sexy.
Romantic.
Okay,
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah. Give it to us.
So this is one of the pieces that like when I check my little Spotify and everything, this is one that get listened to the most and it's the most
Oh, it's on
requested.
Spotify. On Spotify.
Yes, I have a project out called Words Spoken by Mr. Outley Volume 1, streaming on all digital platforms.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
thank you. And this piece is called Come Close.
Come close.
Yes, so come close. No, please, come a little bit closer. Let's embrace, breast to breast. Instant increase of our heart rate so intense that you're stunned at literally feeling it thumping through my chest. forever patient, insisting on proceeding at a snail's pace. So rather than partake in a Hasbro or some frivolous race, just come close and allow me to touch you, but with no hands, nor any other body parts, yet reaching a plateau unknown to a soul. You see, this chapter in the novel rarely ever gets told. You see, I'm eager to hear your story, your failures, your triumphs, your journeys. Underneath the many layers of all things you is what concerns me. What's your biggest fear? First of all, first of all, I just saw you move.
I'm like, "Oh."
See, you threw me off.
I'm sorry. You got a great way of delivering.
Thank you.
Yeah, a great way of
I
delivering.
just gave a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's okay. So where can are you doing spoken word somewhere regularly here in Atlanta?
It's no place regularly.
Mhm.
There are so many open mic spaces to do poetry. However, I will be on June 18th, on a Wednesday, at Vibes
Vibes,
over
vibes.
in Stonecrest Mall. I will be there for a networking event, and I will be performing a poem. So if you want to hear the rest of that poem,
Hmm.
you might want to come out there.
And you're
So
gonna also meet Lex and Eno and Crown, the host. They
yes,
give a great. It's a great networking event. It really
so
is.
I'll be there on June 18th, and I'll be giving you that poem in its entirety.
Okay, so let's dig back into this.
Okay.
Okay, so what advice would you give to others who are newly single and looking to date again? People that are coming out of a divorce.
Well, you said people, and not to butcher your question,
Hmm.
but I will only speak towards men.
Okay, for men, that's perfect.
So with men, I would say number one.
Don't listen to your friend. What your
Okay,
friend said.
you right. You don't want to listen to that.
What do you say? You
But
can have it all.
I think the first thing I would say is go to therapy. Like
Wow. Hmm.
regardless of how it ended, if it was bad, if it was amicable, it was good, no matter what it was. Especially if you at a certain age and you've been through a marriage or two, I suggest therapy. I suggest being healed, being whole, knowing who you are, knowing what you require and what you want and don't want. And hopefully, you have a level of communication and being able to verbally express that. That would definitely benefit you. And don't lie.
Oh, if you ain't ready for it, huh? Hmm.
Don't lie, gentlemen. Can I pretend like you're not here right quick?
Absolutely. Talk to
Gentlemen,
them.
let me explain something to you right quick.
Yes.
You do not have to lie to women to get sex. I'm gonna say that one more time.
No,
You do not
y'all.
have to lie to women to get sex. When you walk into the room, she has already made her decision.
Mhm.
It's up to you to say the right or the wrong thing to seal it. You do not have to lie. As a matter of fact, when a woman asks you a question, a lot of times she already know the truth. She just want to see if you go lie or not. And what you don't realize, the truth is a turn on for grown adult women.
Tell them like it is. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm a woman, and I'd rather hear the truth than to hear a made up story. We may hee haw and go back and forth about it, but let us get it out of our system, and then we'll accept it. Because I don't like no. Women don't like no, but doesn't mean we
I'm
want
sorry.
you.
Can you rewind that a second?
Absolutely.
Say that one
Women
time.
do not like no. Me, I know I'm a woman. I don't want to be told no. However, it just makes room for
I,
yes around the corner.
I can't. I don't know how y'all go chop this up and have some shorts, but they
but
need to
but
put a
make but make
remix.
that one
When you
snip.
say I don't like no, I don't like no, we need to put a remix in that. I'm sharing that one. Go ahead. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I don't. I mean, but we have to accept it. So we do accept it. So what you said wholeheartedly, it is the truth from a woman's point of view. You know, um, my thing is men tell you what they want to get something, like you said, and we gonna give it to you if we want you to have it. You ain't gotta lie. If I want you to have it, I'm put it to you on a silver platter.
And even if you say, even if, whew, listen here. even if she say no right then when you approach her,
That's okay, because we might say no
and
right now,
sometimes they will spin the block.
and we'll try to hold out, and then we'll come back, and I be you talking to your girl, say, "Girl, I think I'm gonna get him some."
And then you get to hey you. See that? See, fellas, I'm trying to help y'all. You see the reaction? I was just thinking about
About
you.
you, yeah.
How do I know this?
So tell me this:
Yes.
um, what would you tell your young self
Mm.
today? Um, just some
Give me
great.
an age, because in my life has been chapters, and I need to know.
Okay,
Give me an age.
let's say let's say about 16, because that's the age that young boys turn into aliens, and they don't want to listen to their mom. They don't want to listen to nobody.
You have no idea what's coming.
Oof,
Brace yourself.
wow,
Say no. That's what I'll say to the 16-year-old. Wow.
wow. Say just you don't know how. You have no idea.
You have no idea
Mhm.
because you thought you knew something.
When did you have your first girlfriend?
I'm 15.
You were 15. That's when
Yeah.
you lost your virginity.
No, I didn't lose that at 15, but that was my
when,
first
what,
my
how old were
first
you when you lost it?
my first girlfriend. It was 17,
Oh, you was a late bloomer, huh?
16, 17. Yeah, it was like for real, for real. Yeah, I was. It all depends. It all depends on when, cause let me tell it, I ain't really have it to like prom night.
Is that when you first really, really
That
got it?
that that was when I really listen here. Yeah,
When you really, really.
might have had you had your little experiences, but that yeah, that was what I remember. But I
Wow.
have a memory like an elephant, so for what it's worth.
Okay. Okay.
You and the
So
questions though.
I know, right? That's what I do.
I like it.
So moving on, you got into your 20s,
Hmm.
and were you still in Detroit at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point in time, where were you at in your life? In
Mm,
your late 20s, going into your
late 20s.
30s.
Okay, late 20s. I had kicked the marijuana addiction.
Ah.
I
In
late
your
20.
in your late 20s, you
I
stopped smoking weed.
at 25.
Hmm.
The third Thursday of October, the year 2000.
Wow. Who knows
So,
that?
um, so towards my late 20s, I was trying to get my life back on track,
Mhm.
getting some stability. I was working, and my late 20s when I made a decision. I'm like, I want to leave Detroit. There's something more for me.
Mhm.
Had a great job, working on the assembly line. I had an apartment, had a car. For all intents and purposes, I had
You
it
doing
going
it?
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I wanted more out of life, and I knew it wasn't in Detroit. There was something bigger for me. I just didn't know what it was at that time.
Okay. So, when did you become a Mason? My father was a Mason.
I was raised from a dead level to a living perpendicular on the square November 10th, 2006.
That's
Now,
weird. He got all these dates in his head and times.
I have a memory like an elephant. And it's so crazy because my mother told me she knew when I was 5 that I had a memory. And I just found this out like 3 years ago.
Wow.
So I've
Wow.
always had a memory.
Oh, you know what? Tell people who are the Masons, because some things have gotten lost in translation.
Freemasons, let me be more specific. Prince Hall Freemasons is a charitable organization. Our foundation is charity, brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
and contrary to popular belief, we do believe in the higher power. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so faith, hope, and charity.
Okay. Now,
That
now,
that's
aren't you all supposed to Mary or your wife be an Eastern Star?
No, she
Okay.
doesn't have to be.
Okay. Okay.
That's completely something different.
Okay.
But if somebody was to, if there was like one phrase that I can use about Freemasons and Masonry, I would say Masonry is about uh, good men making men better.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what it's about.
Okay.
And I can say it has made me better. It certainly has.
So do y'all get together?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
as not just doing community service,
Mhm.
we fellowship together. Obviously, people know you hold meetings just like any other organization,
Mhm.
but it's not a secret society.
Yeah, because
It's
like I
not
said, lost in translation,
right.
things
Not
done.
all of these rumors, this internet garbage people get into. Trust me, becoming a Mason
Mhm.
probably kept me from doing life in prison because if I didn't have some of these things that I've learned, I probably would have put hands on a few dudes.
Mhm.
But I've learned to stay within due bounds. So when
Okay.
when when the brothers hear that, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. In due bounds, huh?
In due bounds.
Okay. All right. Do you find that engaging in an artistic expression, um, and being an actor, um, do that put you in some situations when, and then being as handsome as you are, walking into a room for a line or a a casting, how, because I mean you 6'2", six
Six
three.
three,
Yeah,
6'3".
okay, I was going there. And you walk in the room and you got all these people in there and you walk in there. How does the casting work for you when you walk in
So just to make sure I'm understanding the question that you're
the
asking,
room?
you mean if I walk into a casting call and there's other actors in there potentially auditioning for the same
Hmm.
role?
Hmm. Do you get any kind of feedback or kind of flack or challenges?
From the other actors that's
Yes.
in the room?
Yeah.
No, because if I'm walking into a, a casting call and there's other actors, I'm going in there with the mind state is this is my role and I'm about to go and get it.
Uh huh.
None
And
of
that's
the
probably
other
how your walk is walking in there too. Your walk probably when
I've
you
been
walk in that room, everybody probably looking like, oh, this he think he about to take this.
I've been people have said things to me about my walking to a
Hmm.
room, but that's a whole nother thing. But when I'm walking into a casting call, my mind, I'm going in there like I am going to get this role, and who's ever else in there, it doesn't matter to me. They are of no consequence to
You
me.
just
I'm focused on what I'm supposed to focus
okay. So no, but you do give me a time where you had a challenge with someone.
well, there's never been a challenge, but I've walked into spaces and dudes will do this.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Give
Hmm.
me the little once over because you got, it's 5, 6 dudes, bald heads with beards, and
About
a
5 or
lot of
6.
right, and a lot of times, a lot of men have these egos,
Hmm.
so they want to size each other up or whatever, but that's not who I am internally
Hmm.
because I don't really care about y'all. I don't care about y'all at
Hmm.
all. I'm coming to get this role.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been sized up. Dudes do this, and I see it through your peripheral, but I don't pay no mind because they ain't gonna do nothing to me.
Okay. All right. So you have um an award-winning play that's coming up.
Yes,
That is Shella Man.
Sell the man.
It's my agency, Tina B. She is the founder of that. Um,
Shout
and
out to Tina B.
yes, shout out to Tina B. Actually, our fashion show, our big fashion show, is Sunday
This
and it's
Sunday,
sold
yes,
out.
it is.
Yeah. How do you that role? How did that come about?
So what I don't know if you knew this or not, but Tina B and I had an award-winning online show before they were called podcasts in the street with Tina B and Mr. Outley.
Oh,
Like
y'all was
17,
together.
18.
Y'all was.
Yes.
Oh, I
And
didn't
we
know
won ATL's hottest online award show before they were called podcasts.
that. Hmm.
So we was ahead of the curve. Shout out to Tina B.
Okay.
So and it's so crazy because I was watching some of our former old shows over the last week. And but yeah, so me and Tina B got connected the first stage play I was in.
Okay. Okay.
So we met each other back then. And with
Hmm.
this, when she came to me with the idea, she knew what she wanted to do, and she was like, "Hey, can you my role in this production, I am the narrator
Mm-hmm.
and your conductor through this story of these seven men dealing with separate issues and how it affects them and the people that love them, their
Mm-hmm.
wives, their families."
Mm-hmm.
So I am the narrator, and in the beginning she asked me to write like a short poems before each scene slash topic to kind
Oh,
of
like as you narrating,
I'm
and then you
narrating.
giving the example, or you giving some of the snippets of what's going to happen with
Right,
that.
just giving the artist a preview.
Okay, okay.
So the all those intro poems are written by me,
Wow.
and this has been going on since I want to say 18, 19. She's been doing this for a while. You know, COVID
Mm-hmm.
changed things,
Mm-hmm.
but this reincarnation of it has been great.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out to the entire cast.
Yeah, yeah. I was supposed to play the part where I come and disrupt the whole scene with my sexiness, but it fell on the same day that I got my first hosting job for one of the biggest fashion shows here in Atlanta.
So which topic were you want to be in? We don't get too much away because y'all got to
Yeah,
come out and see it.
yeah.
July 20th at the Uptown Comedy Theater. Tickets are now on
On
sale.
sale.
We on the south side.
Yes. James, I think.
Oh, so you was coming JT?
Yeah,
Oh, that would have been cold.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and it falls on the same day I do the
Okay.
show.
Yeah.
Well, the show was supposed to have been on the 26th, but they doubled the Wall Street. They doubled, so they put me on the 20th. So now that this on the 20th, so I couldn't do it. But it would have been great. It would have been great.
That is a production that all men need to come and see.
They do. They
And
do.
this is, well, obviously we're in June, but June is Men's Mental Health
It
Awareness
is.
Month.
It is.
And it plays, and I wish it would have been July, but the point is, men need to come out and see this play. So, ladies, you know, bring your
Bring
husbands, your
yeah.
boyfriends. Men
Because it
really,
has on sex addiction, alcoholic. It's got several things that men go through that men don't want to talk about.
yes. And shout out to Tina B because she has created this to give men voices to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I just so happen to be the conductor, being a privilege to be a part of this
Mm-hmm.
since its inception.
Okay.
So I've been in it since the beginning, and it's heavy.
Yeah, it is.
We go laugh, cry,
It
tears,
is.
anger,
It is.
all of that.
It is. What's your relationship like your young black son?
So my son is 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 grandsons.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
He's been busy, huh?
yeah, he's active. He's active. We have our relationship has grown. He had his own challenges and went through things, and him going through what he went through, I think now he has a better understanding of how I parented him.
Right.
Because I was a little strict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was a little, you know, I was one of them black fathers. And our relationship is great. We probably go FaceTime sometime tonight. But I love my son. I love my 3 grandboys, and I'm proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of him. He learned something at 27. You know, you kind of go through some things, and while he was going through things, I was going through things at the same age. But I'm thankfully he's on the other side of it, and he's growing.
Yeah, that's the same thing with my son.
Yeah.
It was rough when he first got out, but he has grown, and I have a 3-year-old grandson, and so he's a great father. Matter of fact, my son is going to be on my show next week.
Okay.
I'm doing exceptional dads.
I like that.
And yeah, the whole month of June is men on my
I like
day.
that.
So looking ahead, what are your hopes for your life? What are you hoping to accomplish?
My life, you said for life.
Your life and your dating.
Yeah,
Do we see wedding bells?
I don't feel like I ever have to get married again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't feel like I need to do that, but I do see myself being in a committed, most importantly, a healthy adult relationship.
Okay.
That I can do. I don't feel like marriage is a necessity for me anymore because I've been there, done that. So my dating life will be healthy. My
Mhm.
relationship life, when I get to that point, it will be healthy.
You'll be healthy.
Yes, I saw you put that in there. Second, I see what you did there.
Okay.
Give me the first part of the question. The
Okay,
first,
the first guy.
you said life.
what does your future look like? What is going
Whew.
what is going? Because we getting ready to close this out. What does Harold? What is Harold going to be doing in the future? What are you're hoping for?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm hoping for, but let me tell you what's gonna
Mhm.
happen because I've already prayed for it and claimed
Oh,
it. For one,
love that.
number one, I will be healthy
Mhm.
spiritually, physically, mentally. I will continue to be whole. I will
Mhm.
be living within my gifts. I will be
Mhm.
a better father, a better man, a better brother, a better companion, and he is going to give me all the things that I desire.
What are some of those things you desire?
One of the things I desire is to make a living off my gifts.
Yes.
I want to make a living off my gifts. There are
Mm.
so many things that I've done that's coming out, that's coming, and I see it coming. I see it happening. And whether it's writing, acting, more spoken word, that's what I want. But most importantly, I want to be healthy. I want to be whole. I want to be spiritually grounded. That's what my future will be. That's what it's going
I'm
to be.
going to be.
That's what it already is. I'm just walking the journey. I'm on the journey going forward.
I love your attitude about because you're a man's man. You
Hmm.
are a man's man. I love a man's man because a man's
You
man
think
can
so?
tell exactly where he is
Mm.
and what he want and about him. And he don't have to beat around the bush about it. He don't have to be afraid to say, "I have insecurities. I'm going to therapy. I've done this in the past, and I'm working on changing this." That's a man's man to me.
And I accept that compliment
Hmm.
because while I am not without flaws, I know what those flaws are. So when I say knowing who the fuck I am,
Hmm.
that's all encompassing. But I've done the work, I'm doing the work, and I'll continuously do the work. But again, this is what
Wow.
happens when you are, if you're fortunate enough to grow and you learn something, you take accountability, men, you can say, okay, I know who the fuck I am. There's nothing anybody can say about me that will ever make me feel any different how I feel about myself.
Wow. All right. As we wrap up today's episode featuring Harold Otley, it's clear that his journey through divorce and into the dating world
Mm.
offer value insights for all of us. Harold's perspective as a spoken word artist and actor enriches his approach to relationships, allowing him to connect deeply and authentically. His experience remind us that dating after 50 can be both challenging and rewarding. The lessons he's learned
Mm.
from his past and his willingness to embrace new opportunities are inspiring. Harold's emphasis on personal growth and creativity highlights the importance of being open to change and self discovery in the dating landscape. Yes, I can see I have a crystal ball.
I'm like, because you had all that written down before we even had the interview. Like, did you know all this?
I
Let me find
we
out.
talked and I went through your profile. This is what I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Harold,
Mm.
for sharing your journey with us today. We wish you continued success in both your artistic endeavors and your dating life. Keep inspiring others with your words and accept in your experience. Stay tuned for more stories and insights on the diary of dating over 50. Until next time, embrace the journey of love and connection. And I thank you guys for tuning in with me on a regular basis.
Can I
Uh,
do one thing?
Yes, you can do one
Can I
thing.
tell people where to find me at?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so if you are interested in what I do and want to follow me on the TikToks, the Instagrams, and the Facebook,
Ooh, give it up.
Harold Outley, HAROLDOUTLEY. And tap in with me even more closely at my website, www.mrwhatupdoe.com.
Mr. What Up Though? Can
That
you spell that?
that is MRWHATDOE.com. And hopefully in the editing process they can put MrWhatUpDoe.com at the bottom.
That's cool.
So yeah, please tap in with me. Available for bookings. It's movies out on Tubi. Men Pray 2, Destiny, a love story gone wrong, Sinful Lies. It's a series that I'm in called 4.4, episode 5 drops on Monday on YouTube. Got a lot of stuff going on. I just had to do not so shameless plug, and thank you for having me.
Aw, y'all ain't any special. So y'all know the whole month of June is men's month for me. So next week we're gonna have exceptional dads. We're gonna have my son Evolve Redrum, because that's the name he want to go by, Evolve Redrum. And I'm gonna have my cousin Leroy Brown. I'm gonna have Tiku. He's a new father, and then
Shout
I'm
out
gonna
to
have
Cool.
I'm gonna have James Bowman. He was referred to me by. I put it out there. I put it out there on social media. I wanted exceptional dads, and I wanted to interview them on Father's Day. So, and then following week we have Anthony Velvet, and then at the end of the month I got a surprise. I don't know who it is yet. It's going to be a surprise guest. But look forward to the diary. We're also adding a new umbrella for the diary. It's going to be called the Diary of Life.
Hmm.
Thank you. A friend of mine came up with that name where I can encompass not just dating, but just interviewing people all over. Y'all know I like to go do locations, interviews. Also, don't forget, I advocate for sex trafficking against our children. We had that big event coming up in Cleveland, Ohio on June 28th. Y'all, if you're in the Cleveland area, you have to come by. It's going to be, you can find the flyer on my social media on Facebook, Tanya R. Lewis. The flyer is on there. It's going to be a gala event. You got to give a donation to get it in, and the donation depends on what you want to give. I'll be giving more information on that. I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Continue to tune in with the Diary of Dating Over 50 with Tanya R. Lewis. Thank you.